Welcome to MyPolyglot Podcast. Here, you will be able to listen to polyglots, language learners and experts speaking in different languages, from Spanish to English, including Dutch and Catalan. Every week, a new guest will be sharing tricks and tips on how to learn any language. And here is your host, Mello.
Hello and welcome to MyPolyglot Podcast. Today is a very special interview. Maybe you have heard about him, maybe you have read, listened, heard, and things like that about him. His name is Ziad Fazah. Ziad Fazah is a man from Lebanon. As far as I know, he was the last man that was listed on Guinness Book as being the biggest polyglot. After, I don't know since when they take out this category. So he still holds this record. As far as I know, if not, please let me know if I'm wrong. I tried the last time I opened a Guinness book and I looked for the category languages, linguistics, and polyglots. I didn't see anybody there. So Ziad speaks in that time, in the time of the Guinness book, 59 languages. He has been tested in many of them. Maybe he got famous also for a very bad program, a Chilean program called Viva el Lunes, that until now is one top of YouTube. But during this interview, you are going to discover the background, that what happened during that tragic day on Ziad's life. For me, it's a great pleasure to be here and to present him. Because since I was a child, and this is really a child because it's a long time, I've been following and trying to find Ziad until this year that I got the lucky to find his contact, and now I'm improving my Polish, and Ziad is my guru, is my master, and he is guiding me through his great techniques and his great piece of advice. And on this podcast that is going on air after a long effort, because he didn't really want to be public again. He's a very open person indeed, but I guess that he really gave up to be this public figure. But fortunately, I got this interview. Generally, my polyglot is to be multilingual, and I'd like to interview my guests in different languages. But this time specifically, I decided to interview Ziad. I asked him to give me this interview in English so that we could reach many people and the most possible people to really know him. Normally, at the end of each episode, you can find further information about the guest on the website. But Ziad decided to not post his personal details there. Don't worry, we have some good news in the future. At the end of this podcast, I will tell you what we are thinking about. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I would like to have you keep in touch. I'd like to invite you to like us on Facebook. That is my facebook.com/mypolyglot. This will guarantee that you are going to receive news and updates about our podcast. And also there is a space on mypolyglot.com to subscribe and receive our newsletter. So I want that you are anxious to listen to this interview, and so with pleasure I present Ziad Fazah, the polyglot, the man who knows every language of the world. That is the title of his article on Guinness Book. Bye for now. See you at the end.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Nou.
Yasu.
Ahoj, sveikas.
Norok. Ahoj.
Eve.
Sveiki.
Mirdita.
Hey.
Guten Tag, wie geht es Ihnen?
BND.
Guten Dag.
Bonjour, Camille Manara.
Goedendag mensen.
Bonjour. Hello.
Alles goed?
Dober dan.
Salut.
Hola.
Okay, so hello everybody and welcome to MyPolyglot Podcast. Today I have the pleasure to receive the legendary Ziad Fazah. So first of all, Ziad, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure being received by you personally, and I'm really ready to answer all your questions.
Perfect. I know that the whole polyglot community is also really looking forward to listen to more about you. Generally, I ask people to present himself or herself, but I guess that it's not really necessary. But you can tell us a little bit who you are, where do you live, just in basic things, because you are a personality.
Thanks a lot. Well, my name is Ziad Fazah. I was born in West Africa, Liberia, many years ago. When I was a few months, my parents had taken me to Lebanon. And I was raised up in Beirut for many, many years of my life. And when I was 10 years, I felt something that God had bestowed me. It should be, and it was, it will always be, and it would be, the talent of languages, the linguistic talent of God. I myself believe in the Lord. The Lord exists. Why? Because I had been bestowed by His own talent. Indeed, when I found out that God had bestowed me this linguistic talent when I was 10 years, at that time, I spoke 4 languages in Lebanon: English, Arabic, French, and Armenian.
Okay.
And from when I turned 13 years, I had started learning by myself. It means that I had been self-taught for 3 years in Lebanon. When I turned 13 years, till the 17th, I was capable of mastering the whole language of the world.
Okay.
In reality, many people had been curious, asking me, Mr. Ziad, how were you capable of learning and mastering all these languages?
Yeah, this is the question.
Yeah, I had always answered in a nutshell. At first, when you are bestowed by a linguistic talent or any kind of other one, mainly learning languages requires a great memory.
Yeah.
And that I also had it granted by the Lord. So let's take for account that I am interested hypothetically in learning Chinese.
Okay.
The first step I had always followed was learning the phonetics. In a couple of 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I was able to master the phonetics, because at the time I had bought all languages with cassettes.
Okay.
The second step, every day I was studying by myself 15 minutes grammar. And in 2 weeks, I was capable of mastering. Why had I started learning at first the phonetics and the grammar? It's totally and thoroughly easy, because through the grammar, I was able at the time to express myself within great and extensive possibilities.
Sure.
And according to the Lebanese population historically, we are scions of Phoenicians. As you know, the Phoenicians in the history of Lebanon had been polyglots in the sense with the purpose of having traveled abroad and of having commercialized their own products with the Europeans.
Sure.
And at the time, as I am a sign of this civilization, I was capable of mastering all languages of the world.
Okay.
And after I had mastered it, there was an important factor that led me to learn them. Why? I have always been a great dreamer in my life. I had learned all these languages for two outstanding reasons.
Okay.
I had wished to work at the United Nations as an international interpreter.
Okay.
And at the time, I had always had the intention of becoming a wealthy man.
Okay.
I know that through languages you could never become wealthy, but
Not
it was
sure.
a great
Not sure. There are.
But it was a great attempt. So after having received all information from an agency that represented the UN in Beirut, I was completely disappointed. I told them I would be interested in making or in escorting the international delegations.
Yeah.
They told me, no. A simple interpreter in the United Nations would only work in the office.
Sure.
And you would only work in the office, and you would never be able to accompany all these international delegations. After all these requirements hadn't been met by them personally to me,
Okay.
I really rejected this. I turned their own requirement down and made up my mind to forget the United Nations entirely in my life.
Okay.
And on the other hand, all these languages which I had learned in the past, I would say had brought over me circumstantially some hazardous stories, well, that involves the secret services of the world. I wouldn't like to get into this matter now, but I'm just explaining my own capability of having learned the language.
Sure.
That's all.
Yeah, just one question that you insist on that and I received some questions about that you have a gift from God. So do you believe that a person who hasn't received this gift from God can still learn a language?
Absolutely correct. Not only one, he could learn several ones.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And on the other hand, any talent bestowed to you from God, not only in languages, in music, or probably in soccer, in any kind of talent in the world, you will be the greatest champion, and you will be thoroughly invincible. And many people will be envious of you, because people in general, those who are envious of you, suffer a lot in life.
Sure. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Generally, when we speak a language, for example, when I speak Spanish, my tone of voice, everything changed completely. During our Polish lessons, we speak only in Portuguese, and so we have other tone of voice. I received a question from Gustavo Rocha saying that, does a foreign language change the personality of someone? Do you think that when you are speaking English, for instance, your brain thinks in a different way when you are speaking Arabic or any other language? Your character, something inner really changes. Now you are speaking English. Do you think that you have a different manner to have your ideas? You change something in your personality?
Well, according to my personality, it's only one.
Okay.
In all these 59 languages, it has always been one personality. I would like to say, it never changes your personality. What only does is the way of expressing yourself mentally in that language.
Okay.
But your personality becomes entirely stiff. Nothing changes in you. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Would you rather say that you speak or you have learned the quantities of languages you claim? By the way, on your book that I have just in the Brazilian version, on the back of it states that you speak 58 languages. Nowadays, how many of those 58 languages do you still speak?
Well, indeed, in the past, what I mean in the past, 30 years ago, I had spoken all these foreign languages, 59 or 58.
Okay.
But as I hadn't spoken them over 30 years, in terms of mankind, in terms of a human being, you forget.
Sure.
There are many idiotic people, I would say silly people, that think that you always have to be ready in all these languages,
Okay.
because they are entirely dumb, and I would say they're totally jackass. But nowadays, among these 59 languages, without preparing myself, I can speak fluently 15 ones.
15 ones, okay. People are curious about that. Can you number or can you name what are the 15 ones?
All right away. Arabic,
Okay,
French,
okay,
English,
okay,
German,
okay.
Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, Polish, Norwegian, Danish, Hebrew, Chinese, Swedish, and Croatian.
Croatian. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exactly, the 15 languages are in our minds, okay. And so, on these 15 languages, would you say that you have the C2 or C1 level, which is the highest level according to the Common European Framework?
Absolutely, exactly. All these 15 languages, which have already been mentioned by me personally, I could speak them in an advanced level. I would never say initially, basically, or elementary, or intermediate. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
What exists in the language is that you acquire its own knowledge 100%. Either you do or not.
Okay, so do you believe or you know the language or you don't know the language? There is no such a things of intermediate, basic, or things like that?
Absolutely not.
Yes. So from the other 58 languages, now you say that you don't speak them anymore.
No, not at all, because circumstantially I had forgotten them. But I would say something, I wouldn't say hypothetical, but something very truthful. Suppose that a company in the world or an organization might be interested in hiring me to perform a lecture or probably to deliver a lecture in that language, suppose in Korean.
Sure.
If I'm not concerned economically in my life, if I don't have any kind of concern, in 2 weeks I'll be ready to talk about this, and I'll be ready to talk about that issue in their own language. It requires that 2 or 3 weeks maximum.
Okay, so you think you can brush up and just recover the language into your mind?
Absolutely.
Okay, and how do you do that? Is there a short trick?
Yeah, I have my own strategy. At first, if that job requires, for example, the issue about economy, I prepare myself entirely about economy in that language.
Sure.
Either Korean or Chinese. Then afterwards, I know that the preliminary information, I have them in my mind. So, in 2 weeks, I'll be ready to be interviewed in that language. As I say, without any concern in my mind, either financial or family, something like that.
Okay.
Because if I'm concerned, if I have a family concern or economic, I won't do it.
Okay. So, in fact, you speak the 58 languages, but they are inside of you. They are in a passive form. Maybe if you decide again to be the biggest polyglot alive, and if you want to take them back, do you really believe that you can bring them back to your mind in a couple of weeks?
Yeah. I would like to mention something specific about many people who claim speaking many languages. I would say these people are liars.
Okay.
I can prove it. Why? Because anybody could say on the internet, well, I master 20 languages. My dear sir, why don't you go to TV and prove your own qualifications? If you don't do that, you are really a liar. And if you want to be tested, call me on the phone, and I'm going to test you in a very hard way. I'm not going to tell you, hello, how do you do? No. I would tell you something like that. How would you say, for example, in Chinese? According to the circumstances with which I had disputed, something very, very tough.
Okay.
I would do it on the Lebanese way, because I know how to do it.
Mello Method is the learning revolution since 1995. Now you can make your dream of living your passion for languages real. Do you want a method that really teaches you a language? What if you could have your own school and get success teaching your students perfect lessons, 100% focused on conversation? Even if you have no experience, Mello Method will work where other methods can't. With Mello method, you will overcome the speaking barrier from lesson 1. Jimmy Mello, the Brazilian polyglot, has created the best method to teach any foreign language. It's now available in 11 languages from English to Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese, including Mandarin and Polish. Be a polyglot with Mello method. Access right now www.mellomethod.com and reach your goals with Mello method, the best method ever created to teach and learn any language.
Way, because I know how to do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's do about television. People wrote me telling about... first of all, I would say that the first time I came across your person was in Brazil, and I remember that you were tested in some languages in the famous program of Jô Soares, but it was just, I guess, 5 or 6 languages that this presenter speaks fluently. I guess that they are on the list. I think Jô Soares speaks French, German, English, and things like that, and this impressed everybody. And so in Brazil, as far as I know, you have never suffered from the television. On the contrary, in Brazil, you were shown as an example of great memory. I remember a program called Group Reporter or something like that, that you were appointed as one of the biggest and best brains and memories in the world, and Brazilian people are proud to be you as now a Brazilian person, even being born in Lisbon.
Absolutely correct. Well, I owe my own gratitude to the Brazilian TV, because that was the Brazilian TVs had started with me with my linguistic qualifications, and through them I was capable of being shown internationally.
Yeah. Okay.
And as I had always been praised by them, I never forget. I do acknowledge them for having been helped by them personally, because the Brazilian media had always helped me, and I had always been assigned as the greatest living polyglot in the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, in Chile, the Chilean media had always been against me. I would say they had been completely envious of my person.
Okay.
Even being journalists, they are human beings, but these journalists had always been envious of you personally.
Yes, this is the question. The question comes from Sebastian Alarcon. He says, everybody has watched the video about your performance at the Chilean TV, where you were mocked. However, true polyglots know that that video in particular was tricked, so you were regarded as a fraud. We already know that you are a true polyglot, because you achieved an impressive amount of languages. How did you handle with all the criticism and wrong reputation derived from that unfortunate event?
Well, I would explain in details. At first, I was invited by a manager, but an Argentinian manager that was working in the Argentinian TV. He called me on Saturday and told me, Ziad, I'm interested in inviting you just to be interviewed in Spanish. You won't be interviewed in these foreign languages, such as Chinese, Japanese, and so on. It was a trap. It was a trap performed by him as a silly person.
Oh, he just said to you that the interview would be held just in Spanish.
Absolutely correct.
Wow.
I believed him at the start, but my wife told me, Ziad, I'm feeling something that would happen against you. Please don't go. Because women are really sensitive, much more than the men.
Yeah, sure.
And at the time, he told me, Ziad, we would like to know you on TV. I told him, are you sure that I won't be interviewed in these languages? So, this man is a liar. Was a liar, will always be a liar. It was a trap performed by him and performed by some people on TV. At first, there was no contract.
Okay.
And as there was no contract, I was exposed to danger.
Sure.
On the other hand, when he called me on Saturday, I should be there on Sunday. Well, if he had told me at first, Ziad, we would be interested in interviewing all these languages, I wouldn't go on Saturday. I would have prepared myself in advance.
Okay.
So when I arrived on Sunday at the airport, he told me, Ziad, you will be interviewed in all these languages. I got mad at this man, and I told him, my God, it's really a trap. So I thought when I was in Chile, I thought of not showing myself on TV. I thought of going
Probably
back
I
to
would say
Brazil.
I'm so sorry, but I will not. I will not show out. I will be here, and so no.
Exactly. And when I was on TV, the Chinese ambassador and the Iranian one, the Iranian attaché, both, when they look at me, when they heard talk about my person, they were completely afraid and envious. Instead of speaking to me in commonly in Chinese, the questions of the Chinese ambassador, he had two questions.
Okay.
The first one, what was the geographical surface of China? My God, I had already forgotten these words in Chinese. And the Iranian attaché, a silly man, asked me. He had prepared a paper in Farsi, but linked to Ayatollah Khomeini, where the Persians wouldn't understand these verses.
Okay.
That's why I became entirely mute.
It's
And
like
I
to
wanted-
test Brazilian Portuguese reading Lusíadas from Camões.
Absolutely.
I speak Portuguese, but I cannot understand Lusíadas.
Yeah. I would say to the people, there are many silly people in the world that envy me. I don't care. If they envy me because they are the real sufferers of their own life. I know that I'm still the greatest living polyglot in the world. I'm not talking in a humble way. I'm talking in a truthful way. This is the reality of my linguistic capability bestowed by the Lord. And what happened in Chile, it was a trap, a real trap, performed by the silly Argentinian manager who I wouldn't like to see him anymore in my life anymore.
Sure.
And two persons of the Catholic Church in Chile had decided personally to overthrow me on TV. I mean, they wanted me to be down.
Okay.
So that's why what had happened, the consequences were completely bad.
Yeah.
But afterwards, the Chilean media said that Mr. Fazah didn't understand the language. Of course, when they started, for example, when that lady from Finland started talking to me in Finnish,
Uh-huh.
of course I couldn't understand her, but I answered her in Finnish without understanding
Okay.
because I wasn't prepared. Because the people have to understand. I mean, the silly people in the world, there are millions of silly people in the world, have to understand. If you know that language, and if you don't do it anymore, the tendency is to forget it.
Sure. Yes. If you ask me what did you eat on Saturday for lunch, I say I have no idea, because to forget something is natural. To remember is artificial.
Yes, but I was completely happy because the Chilean people are not illiterate ones. They are really lettered people in Chile.
Okay.
They understood that it had been a trap. Many people had told me it was a trap. But that manager from Argentina, I said I wouldn't like to see him anymore in my life, because this man has the brain of a stone.
Okay.
He's absolutely brainless. And he called me another time to be in Chile. I didn't answer him on the phone.
Okay.
But when they called me to go back to Chile, I came back.
Uh-huh.
But the Chilean media hadn't talked about me personally, because they realized that the test, that I had been successful being tested by the people on TV.
Okay.
The first time, it was the ambassadors, where the Iranian attaché and the Chinese one had been envious of my person. So they really wanted to put me down. And they wanted to say to the people that Mr. Fazah doesn't know anything at all.
Okay.
Not because he's only an ambassador. Even being an ambassador, he's a human being.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
And if he knows that you master all these languages, he will do his best to betray you or to overthrow you on TV.
Yeah.
And the Iranian attaché was sillier than the Chinese ambassador. He offered me a paper and said in Persian, this man doesn't know Persian.
Yeah.
And I
He
told him
said
in
that.
Persian-
Yeah. It was.
I told him in Persian,
Yeah.
this had not been agreed. This had not been dealt about the contract. And there is no contract. You should talk to me in Persian. That's why I would say in two words, it was a trap, and a trap, and a trap.
A question: why during the program you didn't stop and say, "Stop everything," because this is a trap. Nobody
tried.
told me about that. I think the program will be shown as a fraud and not you.
Yeah, the program was a fraud.
Sure, yeah. But
Yeah,
you
the
should
program was a
stop
fraud.
on that moment and say, I speak all those languages, but I have to prepare myself, and in 2 weeks' time, I will be back and keep this conversation with everybody here. But I have to prepare myself, because if you had stopped the program on that moment, maybe your history will be completely changed.
Well, I had tried, because that program was alive and watched by 120 people
Okay.
from South America. It was difficult to stop it,
Okay.
because I could, even if I had wished to be stopped, they wouldn't do it.
I would stop and we will stand up and leave the program.
Yeah. Because the program, as a trap, wanted to show the world that Mr. Fazah doesn't know the language. They are completely idiot.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Continuing with that, I received a question from Yuri Moreira Andre. I would like to know what language do you really speak? We have already answered that. Just to review, we say Arabic, French, English, German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, Polish, Norwegian, Danish, Hebrew, Chinese, Swedish, and Croatian.
Yeah.
Just to remember, just to answer this guy, and okay, and this guy carries on saying, "Why did you say that you could speak some languages that, and indeed you could even understand the basic sentence like какой сегодня день?"
Well, this is something it's very relative to the program, because как сегодня день, it means what day is today. This is something basic.
Yeah.
But when I was lost in the program, when I felt completely without any protection, so I was out of control, and I couldn't answer anymore, and I became mute. So when you become mute, suddenly you say some sentences that are completely insignificant. That's what happened.
Yeah, okay, yes. Sometimes, and when I was watching that, I thought that it was a silly question, but it was out of context. Maybe if he said that, wow, we are in a program called Viva el Lunes, and so could you tell me what day is it today? Maybe in a context, this will recall your mind, but just say, que dia é hoje? What day is it today? Is really out of context and sometimes could be difficult.
Yes, because as I had forgotten all these languages.
Yeah.
I had forgotten them because I hadn't spoken them for 30 years.
Uh-huh.
This thing happened in Hindi because somebody, when that person from India said somebody, it's Monday.
Okay.
But then I couldn't really share the program anymore because many negative things. A certain type of deniability had occurred against my own person. That's why I got lost.
Sure.
And I couldn't answer anybody more. And I couldn't answer the people anymore.
Yes. Okay. Okay. The question from Penya Lokaku. He says, why you don't appear on media that much? And at what age you started learning language? You said me that very young. How old?
Yes, I was 13 years.
13 years, uh-huh.
I had studied by myself as a self-taught person from 13 till 17.
Okay, and why we cannot see you anymore on the media, neither on Brazil or Chile or any other place?
I would be very honest to you. No more interest.
Mm-hmm.
Why no more interest? Because it's a mere illusion. It's a sheer illusion.
Uh-huh.
Because nowadays I'm in a different situation. I'm thinking about different things in my life. I'm not thinking as before, because those who are always on the media and who would like to show themselves always on the media, they eat, they want to drink, and their own life becomes absolutely exposed to the media. So I would like to be probably more anonymous. It's better to me. I can live much better.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't care if that one is famous, or even the president of the United States is nothing.
Okay.
I would say we are nothing. We are nothing in front of this universe.
Sure.
What we are merely human beings.
Uh-huh.
We only have to love the God. We only have to love the Lord. That's all.
Okay.
But being in the media, I have no more interest.
Okay. My personal question, you talk a lot about God. Which is your religion?
Greek Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next question from Junior Vasquez. Which are your language weaknesses? That is, listening, speaking, reading, or writing. And how do you manage to get over it and improve it?
Well, I don't have any weaknesses, either listening or writing. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
What does? That you don't have the opportunity, you don't have the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have the environment, neither the environment nor the opportunity, you don't speak it anymore.
Okay.
But it's in your mind.
Okay. Even difficult scripts like, let's see, in your list, for example, Chinese is famous for being difficult. Hindi.
No, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
No weaknesses. Because when you are endowed with this talent, no weaknesses. You speak them flawlessly.
Mm-hmm. So, in those languages, now you have on your list just Chinese. So, in Hebrew, can you fluently read in Hebrew and Chinese nowadays?
Yes, I can read fluently in Hebrew, but in Chinese there are many characters that I forgot them, but I can speak it fluently.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but because I'm not interested in reviewing these characters anymore, because if it's something that somebody offers me an opportunity that involves money, I do it.
Okay. Yeah. So nowadays you are moved by businesses opportunities. Language
Absolutely
for you is a
correct.
passion.
Absolutely
You said that it's a gift. It's a talent. God gave you that. So now it's beyond the passion. So now you really want to make business with it.
Absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you ever learned similar languages at the same time? This question comes from Wesley Balland. Have you ever learned Spanish and Portuguese, Dutch and German?
Yeah. During when I was 13 years, every 3 months, instead of learning one language, I was learning 2. Sometimes I was learning 3.
Mm-hmm. At the same time?
Yes. I was doing that after coming back from school.
Okay, wow.
I was dedicating to each language half an hour. For example, Chinese half an hour Japanese, it's a hypothesis.
Okay.
Korean half an hour.
Okay, and didn't you mix them up?
Never.
But
as I say, when you're endowed with this talent, with this gift, you know weaknesses and you never mix them up.
Even similar language. For example, I've seen your list that you speak 3 languages that are quite similar: Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish. I tried to learn them at the same time, and now I can say some things, but I don't know if I'm speaking Danish, Swedish, or Norwegian. In my mind, it's the same language.
No, I never mix them up. Of course, there is a great similarity among them, but I never mix them up. For example, Danish and Norwegian are completely similar to each other.
But
I never mix them up.
Do you think you don't mix them because you are talented or because you have a special technique?
Special techniques and talented.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. A person here says that you were really one of the pioneers for multilinguals. And I said you personally that before knowing you, even in Brazil, we have never heard about a person who could speak several languages. We have some mythical, that is really a myth, like Cardinal Mezzofanti, but just people who are not among us. But I think, as far as I know, you were the first alive polyglot that said that I can speak 50, 58, 59 languages. So I suppose that you started this multilingual or this community, the polyglot community that nowadays is growing.
Yeah, indeed. Referring to the community polyglot, I have never shared them. I have never shared this community.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, at first, I have never had time to share this community, besides respecting it on the internet.
Sure.
And this community had always defended me.
Okay.
There is an American citizen in the States named Ryan. He's not a part of this community, but he said, Ziad, I never doubt your linguistic qualification. This man, as an honest citizen, had always defended me on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many, many polyglots also there who had always defended me.
Sure.
I owe them my gratitude, and I tell them, thanks a lot for your assistance, and I won't ever forget your gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yes. I have never doubts about you, okay. Okay, let's see the next question I have here. Okay, have you ever taken any international certificate like CELI for Italian, DELE for Spanish, or something like that?
No, I only have in German, in Goethe Institute in Lebanon, a certificate that enables me, that says, they recognize Mr. Fazah as intelligible, that speaks the German language fluently and without any flaws.
Okay.
Only from the Goethe Institute in Lebanon, only that.
And why didn't you take other ones?
Because if I had to take many of them, it would be impossible.
Okay.
I should be in all the world, and I should be tested all over the world.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what I have here. Okay, this we have already said that. Okay, so the question is, how do you keep up so many languages? Because forgetting is natural. You said that now you keep speaking 15 languages. How do you maintain 15 languages?
Well, it's very easy. Every day, I drill them at home by myself from time to time whenever I'm available, and that's the only way of doing it. But and these languages interest me a lot.
Sure.
And I will always do them. I always have to drill them. That's why I don't forget them, and I will always have the fluency of these languages. Concerning the other ones, I have no interest, because I will do it in vain, and I won't have enough time to do all of them at the same time.
Okay,
Of course, if I travel abroad, for example, if I have to go, for example, to the Czech Republic,
okay.
of course, I prepare myself in Czech to joke with the people in the Czech Republic. And at the same time, I wouldn't say snobbery, but through this joke, I would entertain myself with them, even saying high words on purpose in order not to make the person understand. But at the end, it will only be a joke.
Okay. Among the languages that you have learned so far, which one was the easiest and which one was the hardest?
Now, the hardest is Chinese.
For sure. Do you really think the Chinese is...
Yeah, because Chinese, you have to memorize the characters, the ideograms. And the pronunciation isn't so difficult, but you have to memorize the ideograms. The easiest one is Spanish.
Spanish,
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
Yeah, and well, the most difficult is Chinese. The easiest is Spanish. And if I have any difference, any priority for any of them, I don't.
Yes, I heard that Arabic is more difficult than Chinese, but it's your mother tongue, so you cannot judge it.
No, I would say, well, in terms of Arabic, Chinese, in terms of handwriting, is more difficult than Arabic. But Arabic grammatically is the most difficult language in the world because of its grammar.
Okay. Yes. Are you interested in any conlangs that are artificial language that nowadays we have a growing Esperanto community? Have you ever tried to learn Esperanto or things like that?
Once I did, but I gave up because who speaks Esperanto? With all due respect to your person, only the people of Esperanto. But if it's a country that has its own sovereignty, I will learn its language. Even nowadays, I won't do it anymore because no more time for that.
Yes, you speak 58 languages. I'm not sure, but we have a lot of other languages. You are not interested in learning any language anymore?
No, indeed. Whenever they speak about other languages, these are dialects, but considered as languages. We have about 3,000 dialects in the world. No more personal, but only official ones.
Okay, for example, this one here, do you speak Catalan? No.
No.
Why
I have
not?
never had
It's my
interest in learning
favorite
Catalan.
language.
For example, I learned papiamento when I was in Aruba in a week in 1992 because I was there. And I said, as a polyglot, I wouldn't allow myself to say that I don't speak papiamento. So I bought a book. I had bought a book from a bookstore, Dutch bookstore, and in a week I started learning. And I went to TV by myself because I consider myself a really very big poker face.
Okay.
I haven't been shy in my life. And my wife always told me, you are really the greatest poker face I have ever met in my life.
Okay.
That's why I learned it in a week. But afterwards, the media interviewed me, and I did. But I have no more interest in learning languages nowadays.
Yeah, papiamento were in your list. So nowadays, it's you forgot it completely, probably.
Yes, because it's in my mind, but I hadn't spoken it anymore.
Yeah.
Only by traveling, and I'm not interested in traveling anymore.
But imagine that you decide now to learn Catalan. That is in Spanish. In Spain, they speak Spanish too. But if you say, I would like to get into the culture, how long time would you? In how long time would you be able to learn Catalan?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
just
not a
in
joke.
general words,
it's a
because I
reality.
know that we learned that. I am taking Polish lessons with you just to discover these secrets, and I know more people would like to learn these tricks. Tell us short, just a quick idea on how would you learn Catalan, for example.
Very simple. The same methodology. At first, I learned the phonetics.
Phonetics? By phonetics, you mean by listening to an audio?
Absolutely. I listened to some cassettes. I listened to some, according to the technology, high tech.
Yeah, high tech.
Afterwards, I learned the grammar immediately. I start with the verbs, present and past. And every day I memorize in my mind 30 words. So in 2 weeks, I can speak it.
So, if I have to summarize, if I have to sum up, Ziad method should be first, learn the phonetics, listen to 15 minutes. Yeah, you told me about these 15 minutes, but this 15 minutes is just once. You don't listen 15 minutes every day.
No, only once.
Just to get tuned, just to tune your ears to the language. Just once,
Absolutely
and you say,
correct.
it's enough.
Yeah.
After, you take a grammar book and read it from the cover to the end.
Absolutely correct. From cover to cover, absolutely correct.
Okay, and after on, you...
I started memorizing words, vocabulary.
30 words a day.
Exactly. So if I learn in the 2 weeks 1,000 words, I can communicate. I can express myself pretty well with any person, with any citizen from Spain.
Don't you believe in mnemonics, for example? Mnemonics is to associate, like, do you use some techniques like that? I know your techniques, you told me about that, but do you know something about this association, like, let me think something in English to our listeners. The word this came from Benny Lewis, the famous polyglot, that he says the way to memorize the word for station in French, that is gare. He puts a big image of Garfield there in the station of Paris and make his association with gare, like Garfield is in the station of La Gare à Paris. So, do you believe in such associations? So now, everything that I think in a station, I will have the big image of Garfield there and say, en français, station, c'est la gare. Do you believe in such techniques?
No, I don't believe it.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe it, and I don't want to believe it.
Why not?
It doesn't exist.
Okay. Even people using it. I have a problem with that because this takes me a time to get fluency. Because I have to create the image and I have to... my mind is full of images. So it's Garfield here, then a square there. But
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a fraud.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Okay, Ziad, if you have to tell a word to our listeners that want to learn a language, what would you say?
nowadays.
Yes, say, I want to... what a question, just to finish before that. Do you believe that the best way to learn a language is to learn by yourself or with a tutor, with a teacher?
Now, with a tutor,
Why?
because the tutor can instruct you in a better way,
Uh-huh.
and he can correct you all the mistakes.
Uh-huh.
And the best tutor in this case would be Mr. Ziad.
Sure, absolutely. I can guarantee that. I take lessons with a lot
Absolutely
of
correct.
native Polish speakers, and I have learned a lot with you. Yes, this is another question before finishing that. Do you believe that native speakers can teach better than teachers?
No,
Why not?
because native speakers, they only know their language. If they want, for example, if a man came from England to Brazil and wants to teach, there are many people from England that from the United States that teach Portuguese, that teach English to the Brazilians.
A lot.
Yeah, but when the Brazilian student asks him a question, he doesn't know how to answer, and he doesn't know how to explain him these things.
Yeah.
Because these people who only speak one language, they are not full of detail. They have no details at all.
Yeah.
But those people who are more than bilingual ones,
Yeah.
they understand what you want, and they can meet your requirements immediately.
Yeah, I had one teacher when I studied linguistics on university that he says that the person who only knows one language, in fact, does not know no one, because
He's
with
right, he's
just
right.
one language you have no comparison. It's just one tool. But when you know more than one, you have this ability to compare, to produce, to see similarities, differences, and now you are an authentic linguistic.
Yeah, of course, without any doubt.
Yeah. So
That's the explanation.
yeah. So can you give me give to our listeners a sentence, an encouragement to study language? I know you are gifted, and those who are not gifted, that God gave us just a talent to learn our mother tongue, but we are good at playing the piano or other things. What would you say to those common people?
Well, to those common people, I would give them advice. Please call Mr. Ziad as quick as possible to have the classes. But if you want to learn by yourself, you can do it, but it will take you much more time than learning with Mr. Ziad. With Mr. Ziad, it will take you less time. But don't ever compare. With Mr. Ziad, few time, and by ourselves, much more time. Hire Mr. Ziad, call him up, and he will do whatever you want.
Yes, so now you run a website that is possible to contact you.
Absolutely correct, of
Yes,
course.
and are you able to teach these 15 languages?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, if the person is living in Belgrade, he speaks Croatian, he wants to learn German, the lessons would be given in Croatian and would be into German.
Okay, and so people can get in touch, and so can get Ziad as, I don't call you a tutor, I call you a master or a teacher, because you help me
Not necessary.
quite a lot. Okay, so can you tell us some words in some languages, some or just thank you? Maybe that's we have just thank you our listeners in different languages. Can you do that?
Yes, in Hebrew, toda rabah, thanks a lot.
Okay.
In Norwegian, we could say mangetak. In Russian, spasiba. In Polish, we say dziękuję. In in Arabic, shukran jazilan. In German, auf Wiedersehen, nein, dankeschön. In in Swedish, mangetak. There's also similarity. And so on and so forth.
Ok, Ziad Fazah. So, em Brazilian português, muito obrigado por estar com a gente. Tenho certeza que as pessoas adoraram. I'm sure that people will enjoy a lot. And I'm sure that if we stop and write each word you said, we have a book just from this 50 minutes of interviews. So thank you so much. On the website, that's MyPolyglot.com, I will put the link for your website, and so people can get in touch with you. And I hope to meet you personally to do a personal interview and talk more about that. And so for my listeners, thank you very much. I would like to see you next week, and keep tuned. Bye for now. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this interview. It's a long interview for sure. This could not be short because we have lots of things to talk about. I tried my best to ask him some questions that I received from you, my followers and readers and things like that. I said that I would not post his details on Facebook, because he has no Facebook, obviously, on the page of MyPolyglot. You can just see the common things there, his biography, his photos, and things like that. Because Ziad and I, we are working together now to bring to the world some new things. So probably in the near future we are going to have a new website together with him, where you will be able to know more about his techniques, to learn from him, the good news is that now Ziad will come back to the internet world, and he is absolutely open to teach people, to help people, and to inspire us with his divine talent, as he defines himself as being a gifted person. So keep in touch, and in a short future, maybe this year or at the beginning of the next one, we have great news about Ziad Fazah and Mello working together in many languages to really improve this polyglot community that I love so much. Now, obviously, we have fantastic polyglots that we can admire, like Richard Simcott, Benny Lewis, Ollie Richards, Connor Klein. Well, if I could list, I will say a lot of things, but I think Ziad Fazah was a missing part of this puzzle, and so I would really like to bring Ziad Fazah to our community, and I will be really proud to make a very huge project with him, starting from Brazil, but we would like really to spread this idea to the whole world. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Like us on Facebook again, and keep tuned and keep in touch. Bye for now.
This is the end of today's show. Jimmy Mello is the host, but you can be the interviewer and the interviewee. This podcast is open to the whole community. Go right now to www.mypolyglot.com and ask for further information.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Tau.
Yasu.
Ahoj, sveikas.
Norok.
Ahoj.
Eve.
Sveiki.
Mirdita.
Hey.